All right, so on Revisiting History today, we are reviewing Destroyer of Worlds by Frank Close. The man is a particle physicist and well known for nuclear development, blending science with intrigue. Now, the book itself, is like really chemistry heavy, and if you can kind of parse through some of that, it's not as difficult as some people would assume. Now, I've done a lot of research on this type of topics with the Venona papers, and that gave me a little bit of understanding with implosion and things of that nature and chain reactions. But however, Frank Close obviously understands the topic thoroughly and deeply, and he gets pretty deep into it. I thought it was interesting looking at the scientific obsession and sacrifice. So a lot of times you would have people obsessed with science, or what I would call the muses. Something's always drawing these people in. So like Enrico Fermi was working underneath Mussolini during the time where he was the fascist leader of Italy. And it seems like a lot of these people didn't really care what they were working on as long as they were working on physics. And it didn't even really matter who they were working for, as long as it was physics. Klaus Fuchs is a perfect example, somebody who I've been very harsh with in the past. He betrayed the United States and also England, and gave details that allowed for the development of the nuclear bomb in the Soviet Union. So he did betray multiple governments. And then later on, you see the same kind of thing with Project Paperclip. You see a lot of the Jewish individuals who had fled from persecution of Nazi Germany, and a lot of scientists going from England to actually assist in the development of this new type of technology. And the author even goes a little bit further to talk about Klaus Fuchs in a way that I was kind of not so sure about. Klaus Fuchs, like I said, as somebody who betrayed America, I don't love. But he kind of says that, well, if you're going to be technical with the work that he did in the United States, the work he did in the Soviet Union, and then the work he did whenever he was freed from jail in England to continue working on these bombs. So it's kind of like, he's like, I call him myself the dark grandfather, because you can still call Oppenheimer the father or the grandfather, but if Klaus Fuchs was part of that family, he would have to be the dark grandfather of the nuclear bomb. One of the things that I thought was terribly scary, and that I think that is really interesting, is, and this kind of goes back to the unhindered interest in expanding knowledge on these topics, and Ivy Mike, which, if you don't know, during this test, they thought that the atmosphere was going to catch on fire and just completely all the oxygen burn on Earth. And just the threat of that. Why would you even test it? But at the brink of the end of the world in World War II, I guess you got to do what you got to do. And then one of the things that really I thought was kind of interesting, because a lot of people look at the Soviets and Stalin as kind of like, almost soulless to some extent. But whenever Frank Close explains when the Soviets exploded their first nuke, it was almost the same reaction as the Americans. Just awe. Like, wow, I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe we just did that, and I can't believe it's real now. The book forces readers to think about the ethical dilemmas of this development. It talks a lot, and it's hopeful almost that we will use this type of technology to help improve the lives of humanity. It'll help enrich energy to the point where we're able to power these super processors that power the AI to make the next generation of medications and solve the next set of problems for the worldwide. But the question always comes up: does the risk justify the cost? But, I gotta give it to him, man. Besides some of the heavy chemistry stuff, it's a really good book. Really good book. In fact, I thought I was being kind of pulled into an Oppenheimer book. No, not at all. Not an Oppenheimer book. In fact, this is like if you want to learn the history of the splitting of the atom from a perspective outside of Oppenheimer. So there's a lot of things that were happening, and that's one of the things that also kind of the book really hints at, is it's not one individual that makes these things possible or these things happen. It's a series of very, very unique and gifted individuals spending lots of time and resources on these projects to make them successful. This book really puts in context the amount of time and energy that went into the development of this project that, I know that's been debated recently a lot, that maybe it shouldn't have even have been dropped, But again, we're going back to the ethical dilemmas of these things, and we're never going to have a 100% moral results on any situation. I do appreciate you watching. I do appreciate you going out and getting the book by Frank Close, and absolutely amazing, phenomenal story. And like I said, as long as you can kind of hop around some of the physics stuff and the chemistry stuff and not have to deal with it too much, but outside of it, it's a brilliant story.